Welcome, this is Nerd Dad, and we are going to do a playthrough of Factorio. I have to say I am excited. Factorio is one of my most favorite games. Over 3,300 odd hours on this thing. Some of that I probably fell asleep at the keyboard. Who knows? I just know I play it a lot and really enjoy it. I'm going to get into a game and we'll talk a little bit about what that game is for those people that haven't played before. We're just going to play a default game. Hopefully we don't get too many trees. Let's see what we get here. Oh, not too bad. Actually, not a bad little setup. We got even a decent chunk of ore there, and yeah, we got something for power. I actually think we can live with this. I have to chop some trees a little bit later down this end, but that's good. We've got enough room to get us going here. Okay, so for those people that haven't played Factorio before, it's basically a game where we're going to be base building. We're going to have some friends that join us, and we're going to need to keep them back, so it's like a base building game. If there was a story behind it, it's, we're this single guy and we're stuck on a deserted planet with some enemies, and we need to launch a rocket. And if we wanted to pretend, we could say the satellite on it is a communication satellite, and maybe we're calling home to be rescued. Now, for late game, what it actually is it gathers you more science packs in space, so you can keep playing beyond the rocket. But, I mean, that's, if you wanted to just play 2 rocket launch, you could say that's your goal and objective. So there's a couple things going on here. There's these big rocks, and so when we look at our map, we've got the stone down here, we got copper, we got ore, we got the coal that we're standing on top of now. We got very little oil. That's okay. We'll find some of that. Don't see any uranium. That's all right. We don't really need it for a while anyways. But instead of going way down here to mine the stone, it's actually a lot easier for us just to, and by do, I mean with a pickaxe in our hand or an iron axe, it's much easier for us to do these great big rock formations, because instead of doing them one at a time like we're going to do with this coal, and that only is going to get us 1, we get 20 every time we do the great big stone formation. So we kind of want to do those if we can, and in fact if we get about 3 of these, it gets us through the starting phase of this game very quickly. It basically get us to where we want to be. Okay, so what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get ourselves built up some power. We'll probably shove our power right in here somewhere. And so what we want to do is quickly gather some coal, because we're going to need a little bit of fuel. We haven't got any wood yet, so we're going to chop one of these trees down really quickly, get ourselves a wooden box. We are going to go quite quickly here because early game isn't the most exciting. And we're just going to throw that 1 piece of coal in there. That'll return us 7.5 coal. And then we'll go back and dump all those in. So while we're doing that, we're just going to clean up some of this wood that's going to be in our way. And we need this wood anyways for our power lines. So we're just going to try to, quickly police this up, get it all cleaned up. Somebody's left a bunch of junk in our workspace here, and we're going to quickly get our hands on it. So that's okay, just quickly looking. I don't want to get too far from here, so I think we'll just pick this up. Yeah, there's the 7.5. It just stopped, so there we go. Dump the 7 back in, get that back and running. And so while it's doing its thing, where's our ore? We're going to run way over here to our iron ore, and what we want to do is quickly get some iron plates together so we can build more of these drills that we've just dropped down. It gives us 1 burner drill to start 1 furnace. We're going to want a bunch more furnaces, and since we actually have most of the stone, we'll grab all these into furnaces. And what we're going to do is we're just going to place 1 of those right here, and we're going to quickly just chop up some ore here, maybe about 3. Maybe we'll do 4. That should work pretty well. We'll do 4, and then what we'll do is we'll throw them in there, and we'll throw in half our wood. And while they're burning, we should be able to mine up another 5. And what we're looking for is 9 plates. We're going to need 9 to do the next burner drill that we want to get. And once we get that in place, we should be in pretty good shape. We're going to get 6 out of this. Oh yeah, just throw in 6. That'll go. And we'll come back to that in a second. What we'll do is we'll quickly run back over here and get some coal. And this should still be going, and it is. And then what we'll do is make sure we've got at least 5 in there. And now we've got enough coal to run our burner drill and our furnace when we get back over here. And we'll just keep policing up these items. Just kind of clean them up a bit. Get them off our soil. And there we go. We should have 9. We got 10. That's even better. Now we can do a burner drill. We're going to put 1 of those. And we're going to need about 4 or 5 of those. I'm not sure of the exact count I want. I'm going to 1, 2, 3 on copper, 4 stone, 5 to add to, so we're going to need 5 more. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is we're just going to throw a little bit of coal in here. We're going to throw the balance into this one. Get that out of there. And All right, so we're just going to, we got a bit coming out here. We got 4. This is automated. So we just got to do a little bit of cleaning up here. We could find one more of those stones. Wouldn't hurt us. So let's just take a quick scroll here. There's one way over there. That's going to be great. In fact, we're going to need to get over to the copper here eventually anyways. In fact, why don't we just grab this log off of here, and we'll grab this stone right here. That'll be perfect. That'll give us the balance of what we're going to need. In fact, we probably don't even need this last one, but I always find 3. I never have a problem when I get 3. So, all right, let's just get this in here. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll go back over and should be able to get up at least 1, maybe a couple more of these burner mining drills. And what do we got? With 16, that's going to get us 1, and we're going to be just a couple short. By the time we get that one up and running, we'll be able to get the next one in. All right, so let's grab enough plate here. Grab that. Okay, so let's go to 10 and 5, and what you'll notice is I'm doing twice the fuel on the drills that I'm doing on the furnaces, and that's just about the burn rate. It's not 100% accurate. It's close. I find that if I go 2 to 1, they usually peter out about the same time. It's not, like I said, it's not exact science, but it's close enough, and it means that I don't have to worry about it. In fact, we got enough for 2, which is brilliant, because what we want is 2. What we're going to do, actually, we'll do the coal one first, and what we're going to do is we're going to do this coal, and we're just going to push that one into that one. We're going to flip this one around, and what's happening now is this coal is going to, drill is going to feed this drill. They're both going to be feeding each other coal, and they can't burn it as fast as they get it, so they're actually going to build up a storage, and they'll both build up to 50, which means we're going to have 100 coal there, and we don't have to keep going up there to fill the coal anymore. It's just a pickup location for us now. So now we are into copper. That's really quickly. I'm really happy how quick this is going for us. We'll throw 10 down there. 6 is close enough to half for us. And now what we're going to do is we're in pretty good position right now. All we need to do is get one more burner set up. We've got the wooden box back in our hands, which is perfect. And what we're trying to do is, you'll find that I often try to, save materials if I can, and I do that by not overbuilding. Right now I could be building a bunch more burner mining drills. I could make this go a little bit faster here at the beginning, but then the burner mining drills aren't useful for anything. You can't use them in any other production. The furnaces at least we can use later, but these drills are useless. So I don't like overbuilding them, because all they become is these things that maybe I'll place like over in this whole corner of the map here. I might place 1 or 2 there just to mine that off. It's not really something I want a lot of. All right, and while we yacked there, we picked up way more than enough plate for another drill. And I think, where's our stone? I'm going the wrong way. I thought in my head it was way to the west. South, young man, south. Look at this little useless thing of copper there. We'll either build over it or drill it out. In fact, maybe we'll throw a drill on there eventually. We've got 2 little stones here. I think we'll just grab this one here. We'll start on this one. And all we're going to do here is we're just going to throw some of our wood in there. I think we got more than enough wood. Oh, actually, I'd rather the wood burns off really quickly, so it's better just to throw the 6 coal in there. Okay, we're actually doing quite well. So, what are we actually trying to accomplish here? Well, there's a couple things. You'll note that I've got 2 ore to 1 copper. I find that ratio works really well. And I've already mentioned that I like twice the amount of coal to the amount of coal in the burner. I have this sort of 2 to 1 ratio that I run with at the very beginning of the game, and it works well for me, and it kind of means I don't overbuild yet. It's kind of an easy thing for me to remember what I'm doing. So if I haven't played for a while, I just go 2 to 1, and I can start remembering, what does that mean. Okay, so what are we trying to do? We're trying to get electricity, and to get electricity we need a few things. We're going to need 1 boiler. We're going to need 2 of these steam engines. We are going to need an electric mining drill. We want an offshore pump. We're going to want 1 inserter. We're going to want quite a few transport belts, and we're going to need a few of these electrical wires. All right, so we don't have quite everything we need, but we can actually start building. The other thing we're going to need is a bunch of pipe. Not too much here because we're starting, and we're going to actually start pretty tight here, I think. What we're going to do is I think we're going to build right off of here. Try to squeeze ourselves in here. It's either that or actually run the power over here. So I'm just going to take a little look at the map here. if we build in here, we're kind of making it very tight on ourselves. We actually got a good space here, and it's easy for us to defend this section here. We just have to run a little wall up there. So I'm actually thinking we might build the power over here, even though we have to run the power a little bit further. Telephone poles or the power lines are cheap to run. So I'm thinking we will build in this little section here. In fact, that wasn't what the initial thought was when I started hacking all those trees out of there, but I'm committed now. We're going to lay the pump in. So there's our offshore pump. It's in a good place. And then what we'll do is we'll put these sort of, I'm just kind of thinking of how this is going to look for us. And that should work. And we should be able to run that along. No, I'm going to flip this around just a little bit. I'm going to imagine that this is the line I'm going to bring up this side. And we'll flip the steam across. We'll kind of do this a little bit backwards than what we would think we'd want to do. We'll just push it kind of like this. I'm just eyeballing here a little bit. That should be close. All right, so there we go. We can come up. You can see that both of these stopped because they both have 50 in them now. So we just quickly pick up our 100, and there we go. And we run over here really quickly, and that's because I was taking a little bit too long to make up my mind, but that's okay because now we're in a really good position here. We can just quickly do halves and halves. Just take a half, throw it in there, take a half, and close enough. Okay, and we should have lots of materials now. Not too bad. I thought we'd have a bit more than that, but that's okay. Maybe it stopped a little bit earlier than I thought. And we'll just divvy this up. Our stone is probably running out of coal, so I think what we'll do is just quickly run up some coal down to that stone. And the reason why we're doing the stone component, we don't need any more stone to finish off getting electricity here. We're actually setting up all ready for our processing of ore. We're getting a bunch of stone together so that when we go to make our sort of our processing center, we're going to want a lot of these furnaces. So we're basically just getting that all ready to go. So we're just going to let that run. You can see we've already got 64 stone in there. We don't need any more for what we're doing, but we're going to want a bunch of furnaces when we go to build our processing. So let's just quickly get up here, and why don't we, do we need any of this? Yeah, we're going to do just a little sniff of coal. Let's grab that. That'll just help us get us started here. And then we're going to want a few power lines. We're going to want some transport belts, and we're still, we're going to just be a little bit shy on the. We just need to get this miner up and running. So we got enough copper. It's just the ore we're just short of. There we go. There's our miner. I think we're going to be close. Yeah, we need another. We actually really want another piped ground. So we'll just hang here for a second. Wait for some elevator music to come on. There was a girl from Ampanina. Doop, doop, doop. Okay, so we still need a little bit more. Just no point in getting all the way over there to run all the way back. We'll just. How are we doing? I think I stole all the coal out of there. I did, like a fool. You fool. What do we got? Yeah, that's not bad. All right. I think it's going to be close. We'll see if we can shoehorn it in here. Okay. So what we've got is we've got our water pump. We're just going to stick a little extension on here, and we're just going to bump that right into the water line there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bump a little extension, like a piece of this underground pipe from there to there, and that's going to be for our steam, which is going to come off of there, just kind of like that. So we've got water coming in. We need a place for the coal to go, so it's going to come off this inserter arm here. And we're just going to run this transport belt up here. And this is kind of square at the top, so I kind of like this to start. We'll just actually put this on the corner. It doesn't have to be too great to start with. We don't need that much coal to get going here. What was that? Learn how to run. Have you been drinking? Okay, and we'll just quickly run these down, and we just want to get one next to there, and then we need to get some of the power lines over here to our steam engines. So we've got water, we've got potential coal once we get the power actually kicked up to get that electric drill going, and we've got steam going to come out. So all we need to do now is kickstart it. So we're just going to throw some coal in there, and you can see right away the water starts to heat up. We can kind of mouse over this and take a look, and we can see the water temperature starting to go up. In fact, it's already maxed out. We got steam. The steam is rising. We can see it's at 67, 70, it'll get up to 99.9 and then it'll shut down. In fact, it's blinked to 100 there even for a half second. And that will give us 100% power here. And we can check that out here very easily. We look, our satisfaction is full, and we're using this very little bit of power here. So those people who haven't played, what you want to do is you want to make sure that if this second line gets anywhere around about here, you want to start getting yourself more power so you don't end up getting gray outs, because what will happen is all your machinery will run a lot slower. Meanwhile, our drill has been producing a coal for us, and that will easily keep these two fed. Now, this by far is not enough for us to start, but it's good enough for us to get into ore production. So this is kind of how I start. I start with a couple, and what we'll find is by the time I've built my my 3 strips for ore processing, this will drive us into the yellow, and we'll have to come over and fix this. It's kind of the thing I always do. I always kind of push this into the yellow, and then I come over and I fix it really quickly, and it's because by then I've got enough ore just to quickly slap it together. So yeah, that is going to be episode 1 for us. We should be in a good time position here. We're under 20 minutes, and we're already into electricity, and we will be looking at ore production in our next episode. So I'm Nerd Dad. Appreciate any likes. Appreciate all comments, and subscribe. Thanks for joining me. This is Nerd Dad, and I'm out.